So welcome back to filmmarriott.net in conjunction with eqmusicblog.com with Raj Rudolph.
Hey Phil.
And today we are reviewing the BBC TV series The Little Drummer Girl, directed by Park Chan-wook. Now I have to say first of all, I am not a big expert on spy movies, spy TV series.
Neither am I.
So this was very interesting because there are so many reasons to love this, and we'll talk about maybe the story first of all, because it's based on the spy novel by John Le Carré, who I know is a very famous writer.
Yeah.
I've never read any of his books
Neither have I.
because I'm not a James Bond fan either. I just have never grabbed that spy story theme at all. I've always avoided it, and I don't know why, because I think I've missed out, maybe.
I can't say that I'm a huge fan of the genre either. I somewhat like the show The Americans, which is very, Russian spies in America versus thing in the 80s, kind of like that show. But other than that, I'm not a massive spy person either.
Right.
I do enjoy a Mission Impossible film every once in a while, but that's a bit different.
It depends how it's done, doesn't it? It depends whether it's done in a way that really grabs your attention.
It's all about the twists and the turns.
Yeah, exactly.
The show kind of does that thing where all new shows that want to grab your attention do. In the first episode, there's a big event, explosion, and you're like, oh, wow, and then it draws you in. And
what's the character?
Yeah, I saw the first 2 episodes at BFI London Film Festival this year. I was only there for Alexander Skarsgard and Michael Shannon.
So Alexander Skarsgård plays Becker, who is the character that Charlie meets.
Yeah.
Eventually, obviously, once the story kicks in.
Yeah, and I can't say that I was like totally intrigued for it, but a little bit of star power is usually enough for me to watch a film, or in this case, an episodic presentation on the screen.
Okay.
But it was. The first 2 episodes were good. I enjoyed it. I felt it was like killed a couple hours of my time. I could see a lot of people liking this. For me personally, I don't think I could stick with it though.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing the first 2 episodes and kind of knowing what the premise is about, I just don't feel that it would hold my attention long enough.
So you were watching for Alexander Skarsgård, who plays Becker, who's the guy that Charlie meets. I was watching for Charlie's character, the actress that plays Charlie, who is Florence Pugh, because I saw her in a film, and I don't think she's done many films. I think she's only done a couple, called Lady Macbeth last year, and she was phenomenal in that. I don't think she's very old. I think she's like 22 or 23. Okay. She's a really great young actress who I think is going to be huge if she's not already. I think she's quite a big name.
She was quite good in this role. I mean, she plays a drama student who gets hired by the spy group to play a dramatic role in their mystery spy thriller, and she's kind of a bit hesitant to it and a bit sassy, and there's a lot of scenes where they're trying to make the chemistry work between her and Alexander Skarsgård's character, and it's quite funny.
She's quite guarded.
Yeah.
She's quite she's protecting herself. She's quite smart, very intelligent.
Yeah, and it felt a bit of like some awkward energy between the two, and that's kind of what kept my interest in the first couple of episodes. So if it keeps going with that theme of getting them two to like gel together kind of awkwardly, in this high pressure stakes environment, then I might be interested to watch it. So I might actually have you keep watching it and tell me if it's any good. And
wow. Well, it's funny you should say that, because I've only seen the 1 episode and I'm hooked already.
Really?
Just because it looks fantastic, because it's directed by Park Chan-wook, who of course directed The Handmaiden, which is a film I really loved as well.
Yeah.
And he also did Old Boy. I've not seen Old Boy, but I love The Handmaiden. And I just think the way that it's shot for a TV series is really cinematic as well, because it's based in West Germany, it's the late 70s at the beginning, and you see lots of aerial shots of spiral staircases and the fabulous architecture, and it just looks very authentic. It's all about the feel that you get from something. So you've got, there's one party scene where everybody is smoking, and you don't really see that so much now, because obviously with smoking ban you don't see that, and it just feels so 70s, because obviously back then it wasn't illegal to smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, in a house party it's different, but you get that colour scheme as well. You've got oranges and browns, and it's all very...
It is very authentic.
It felt like a 70s show. It felt very old school.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved it, but it felt very fresh as well. It felt modern.
I can appreciate the cinematography and attention to detail with the sets and stuff like that. Like, I think that's why I kind of pushed away from it a little bit, because I like, futuristic-y, sleek type things.
Yeah.
And, that just felt a bit like, 1970s, don't get it. To me.
I get that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that. There were a couple of things that I thought maybe were a bit jarring. There's a scene towards the end of the first episode, and again, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, where Charlie, they're kind of forming this romantic relationship, Charlie and Becker. And you see him driving her to meet Michael Shannon's character, who is Kurtz. And for some reason, he's driving really fast through the street. And I don't understand why that happened. Because
they weren't being chased. There was no urgency to get somewhere by a certain time.
Yeah.
It was just a bit strange, actually, because at this point, she hadn't quite figured out what her whole role is in this, other than she's being wooed by this mysterious stranger who she met, on the beach. And it's kind of like, ooh, holiday romance, possibly. Yeah. And then he's like, goes a bit crazy with his driving and takes her to meet all these strange new people of the spy group.
I just didn't get that, and it felt almost comedic. And there are funny moments in this, but it's not really a comedy show.
Like, was he testing her to see how she would freak out?
Well, maybe that will be revealed at some point.
Was it like try to scare her to see what her reaction would be, to see if she was up for this type of...
See, that makes perfect sense. But at the time of watching, I just thought, what the hell is going on here?
I
This is just farcical.
I thought the same thing you did, really. Like, until we're actually sitting here talking about it, I'm like, why did they do that?
Yeah.
So.
Up until that point, she's very guarded and suspicious of his mysterious character, because in her group of friends, she's ridiculing him in public, and it felt very... I mean, that was understandable, because you're always going to get lots of people that fall for that behaviour, whereas one person is going to be a bit more switched on and... I'm not going to fall for this. I'm going to give him a bit of distance. And up until that point, I thought, right, she's quite clever. And then when she gets in the car, she'd obviously forgotten all that and fell for him big time. And it just felt like, whoa, we're going back there again. It was a bit... I felt like I was in the car, actually. I was like windswept.
To be fair, though, if Alexander Skarsgård whipped you away to the Pantheon in the middle of this night in a romantic, beautifully lit, scene,
which wasn't open to the public, but obviously hired it.
I'd probably fall head over heels too. I mean, come on.
I mean, it was very romantic, wasn't it? I mean, the way that they'd shot it too.
Yeah.
That's Park Chan-wook again. So yeah, I'm going to say 4 stars, and it's hard to give it a proper star rating because it's so early on in the series. Yeah. But I'm intrigued.
I'm going to give it 3. Just
for now.
For now. But Phil does this thing where we'll watch TV shows, and I'll be a bit like, I'm not really into it, but like The Sinner, starring Jessica Biel.
Yeah, loved that.
He kept going on and on and on about it, so I finished it and I liked it. So I haven't watched season 2 yet.
So The Little Drummer Girl, I liked it. 4 stars for me, 3 stars for you. Until, well,
it's a 3 for me.
You see the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll come back to it like we've done previously. Come back and review the whole thing if you can be bothered.
Convince us in the comments. Or at least convince me. I think Phil's going to watch it. So.
Let us know what you thought if you've seen it, and thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video.